Now, the classic Catholic example, well, I'd call it Catholic, but it's a Christian example, really, is this idea of just war theory. So, just war, good reasons to go to war. And it was invented by this guy called Thomas Aquinas, who you're going to look at when you choose to do RA A level. And in there, he said that everything's got to have a purpose. And really, at the end of the day, war must be acceptable in some certain situations because there are some really good times to fight. For example, if you're seeing someone else dying and they're being killed by someone, you've got to stop them. You've got to stop those bad things. And also, perhaps you should say there must be some kind of reasons when it's a just cause. If I just sit there and never go to war, and I've got the Nazis invading me, for example, well, I better get involved to stop that from happening. So he had a series. He had what were called you had Jus et Bellum, Jus Post Bellum, and Just in Bello. I'll give you the ones for Jus ad bellum. So these are good reasons, according to Thomas Aquinas, for going to war. And I'll just give you a couple of Jus in Bellum and Jus Post Bellum. But Jus ad bellum. So this is reasons to go to war. Good. If you're going to go to war, these are the conditions that got to be met. Otherwise, don't go to war because you've probably got a bad reason. So firstly, it needs to be a last resort. It's the last thing that you do. Okay, so you've looked at other options, you tried to talk to them, you tried to, let's take the Nazis, let's use them as the example. You've tried to negotiate, you've tried to be reasonable, but at the end of the day, it just seems that they're killing and killing and killing, abusing the rights of Jewish people, abusing the rights of disabled people, causing problems all around the world, invading and invading. They're probably going to invade you. Well, it seems like we're going to need to actually go to war with these people. So that's the first one, last resort. Second one, there needs to be a serious threat. There's got to be a real threat here to the safety of your country. So, the Nazis, they were a threat to the country, weren't they? They didn't seem like it was safe. So as a result, you've got to go to war with them. Decisions to go to war must be made by a government, by an authority, not by a group of individuals. So ISIS, for example, are just a group of individuals. They're no authority in any regards on any as a representative of any country or religion. They're just a bunch of rubbish people, really, in my opinion, really bad people. But the thing is that they would not be seen to be doing a legitimate war. A legitimate war must be declared by an authority. So that might be, for example, the Pope within the Catholic Church, or a government leader such as a Prime Minister, a President, the head of the UN, someone along those lines. There needs to be a good chance of success. Don't go to a war that you can't win. All right. So if I'm going to go and fight, if I was like a small country like Scotland and I wanted to go to war on America, it's not a good idea because you're going to lose. So you need to get yourself into a position where you're strong enough to win, because otherwise it's a bad reason to go to war, because you're just putting other people in danger. Yeah? You're just putting other people in danger because basically all your citizens are going to die fighting a war that they can't win, even if it is for, so to speak, a just cause and last resort, etc. Force itself needs to be proportionate. You shouldn't just be doing it. You need to be as minimal in the damage that you do to citizens as possible. So don't go just like doing massive bombings that are going to destroy schools and mosques and churches and men, women, and children who are totally innocent. You need to be trying as much as possible within the war not to kill innocent lives. So there's an example of something that's just in bello, because that's actually saying in the war you need to be proportionate here. You shouldn't be killing lots of people. Also, the ultimate goal of the war, so this is back to jus ad bellum, the ultimate goal of the war must be to restore peace, must be to make sure that people are, that there isn't going to be any war anymore. So it's to actually restore peace, to create peace and order within the world. The purpose must be for peace, not to invade other land, not to get gold, not to get oil. It's to create peace in the world. It needs to be the goal. You need to be fighting a war for peace. Other examples of, so those are mostly jus ad bello. These are war reasons to go to war. Jus in bello, okay, you shouldn't be using you shouldn't be killing innocent civilians. That would be an example of jus in bello. You should, when you're actually fighting the war, you shouldn't be killing innocent people. Okay, that would be not allowed. As said before, it should be proportionate. You shouldn't use underhand tactics. These would be examples of jus in bello. Let's just do 2 of those. Don't kill civilians, and also make sure that you aren't doing a huge amount of harm. You're using minimal harm. Now, jus post bello, just after the war, okay, these are the conditions that need to be met. Reconciliation, so you need to make sure that you and the enemy have now reconciled your issue. You're not in hate of each other anymore. And also, there shouldn't be a big pillaging and taking of other people's things. Yeah, but the key idea there is reconciliation. Okay, make sure that after the war you're not actually killing. You're not everything's been resolved. There's not going to be another war 1 year later. That's the goal. Now, just interestingly enough, Tony Blair himself is a Catholic, and when he was Prime Minister, he actually did a speech about the war in Iraq, and he actually used just war theory to justify the war in Iraq. So he said it was the last resort. He spoke about the threat of nuclear weapons, so as a result, the safety of the government being at risk. He emphasised the fact that he was the Prime Minister, and he and his government have done a vote on this to make this war legitimately done. He said there was good reason to believe that this war would end up being successful. The intention wasn't to harm civilians, and the goal was for peace. So these are examples of Tony Blair's beliefs that he wasn't doing he was doing a just war, a war that Thomas Aquinas would have approved of.